Hi, boys and girls. It's your art teacher, Mrs. Steffgen, again with you. And today we're going to do some sketching. I found out from your teachers that you have been practicing doing a lot of sketching in your regular classrooms. So I thought, oh, for art, that's a good idea to try to practice sketching today. And today we're going to go back to that great book we read last week, Where the Wild Things Are, and try to do some sketching. So today we're going to go back and we're going to look at Maurice Sendak book, Where the Wild Things Are. And the Wild Things book is a book where it has a lot of illustrations, and all the illustrations in it are done with sketching. Maurice Sendak was a sketcher, and the kind of sketching he did was called cross-hatching. And cross-hatching means that you take some lines that are going this way and some lines that are going the opposite way, and you put them on top of each other. And he always did it with a black ballpoint pen. So he went like this, and then he went like this, and that is called cross-hatching, and that is what he did with his illustrations of all of his animals. He did cross-hatching, and cross-hatching is a kind of sketching. So instead of just making your wild things like we did last time, like this one, or where we actually made them with shapes, like this one, instead of just making them with shapes, we're going to make them with the cross-hatching. So you can kind of sketch out a little bit of how you want the body to be. Like maybe the body is going to be right in here, and you're going to, when you sketch, you don't just make a straight, direct line. You kind of hold your pencil more lightly, and you move your pencil like this, in movements like this. That's called sketching. And if you want to make his body look like it's sketched and cross-hatched, you'll start putting those lines in and crossing those lines like this. So we can do that with the black ballpoint pen, or we could do it with a pencil. So you can do it with a pen if you want to do the cross-hatching, or you can do it with a pencil. So you want to just cross-hatch everywhere. So you're going to make lines in one direction, and then you're going to go the opposite direction, and this is called cross-hatching. And you're going to probably try to fill up his whole body with cross-hatching. Now when you go down to make his legs, if you make his feet, notice on his feet are kind of made out of shapes, but then there's a lot of cross-hatching at the bottom to make it look like a shadow underneath his foot. His feet don't have quite as much cross-hatching on them as his body does that is supposed to be furry, okay? So I'm going to do the cross-hatching all over his body, and I'm going to use my pencil or my black ballpoint pen to do all the cross-hatching back and forth and back and forth. And I'm going to cross-hatch everywhere along his body. When I start to make his legs, I could sketch out his legs, sketch them out, sketch them out, sketch them out, and maybe put on some claws for his feet, sketch out his legs, and maybe do his claws for his feet. And notice how my pencil is kind of moving back and forth, kind of more quickly than we did when we just made a straight line and a straight line and a straight line and just made the lines so definite. We're doing more sketching. And when we go to put in the cross-hatching, we do the same thing. We put in the lines, and then we cross-hatch them across from each other. And we can fill up this whole part with cross-hatching too. So we're just going to actually try to do a lot of sketching with our wild things today. Even when we put on a head, you can kind of make the shape of the head with sketching kind of lines, sketching kind of lines, sketching kind of lines for his horns, sketching kind of lines. It's not quite as definite a line as this one was, just a definite line. It's more little sketchy kind of lines. And even if we put sketchy lines in his face with cross-hatching, that's okay. His eyes might be just the big circles and color them in yellow because Wild Things always had yellow eyes. But we're going to just try to practice doing a lot more sketching kind of stuff today, where our hands are moving like this, back and forth, back and forth. Okay, that's what sketching is all about. Moving your hands in a little bit different way than you use them when you just draw a definite line. When you make a definite line, it looks different than when you make kind of sketchy kind of lines where your hand goes back and forth and back and forth. I want you to make this kind of a wild thing today, which looks a little bit different than this thing. Okay, so let's just try to do the cross hatching today and try to do the sketching movements where your hands are moving little bits at a time, little bits at a time. Let's try that today.